It's impossible to make a former minister of Palestine or a former chief of the Mossad talking, debating every night on a TV. But here, inside the media, in I24 News, this is possible. This is to be balanced. This is what the people don't like, what they are watching I24 News, because we are showing them inside their own TV that the perception that they have about the fact that nothing can move in the Middle East, nothing can be done in the Middle East, is not true.
Welcome to Frank Talk. This program is brought to you by the Leadership Dialogue Institute and I24. I24 is the international news channel of Israel. It broadcasts in English, French, and Arabic. I'm Albert Ladon, your host, but I'm sitting in Melbourne, Australia. And it is my pleasure to have with me, but in Tel Aviv, the boss of I24, the founder, Franck Melloul. Welcome, Franck.
Good morning.
How is it in Israel? How's the weather?
First, the weather is amazing. We are back with the good weather, the sun, the beach, but we are still with the mask, and it is very important to keep it, because we're still facing the corona situation, and these last days the situation is going worse and worse. So it's important that to keep the restriction and to continue to wear the mask. But I have to say, Albert, I'm very happy to be with you this morning and to stay a few minutes, almost an hour, to answer your question and to invite you here.
I'd love to be with you in Israel. In fact, truth be known is that I've applied for a permit, because these days we need a permit to leave Australia, and I still haven't received it. So that shows you I have zero influence on that, on anything in any case. So Frank, you have a very interesting journey. I mean, as your accent tells us, you are French. Prior to I24, you also started France 24. How did you go from France 24 to I24? What was the journey? And as a matter of fact, I know that you, prior to France 24, you were a diplomat, a French diplomat. So that makes your journey very interesting.
Thank you, Albert. Yes, I'm sorry. I cannot hide my French accent. Even I was born in Switzerland, so if I would have a Swiss accent, it would be worse. But I'm happy to say that I have a French accent and to make this conversation more authentic. You're totally right. I'm not a journalist at all. I was not a businessman before I launched I24 News and became an entrepreneur. I'm a former French diplomat. I used to work at the Quai d'Orsay, the French Ministry of Foreign Affairs. My first job was as in charge of ESDP, which is European Security Defense Policy. After I moved to the Ministry of European Affairs as the advisor of the minister, and I became the deputy spokesperson of the French Ministry for Foreign Affairs for international organization, terrorism, and Middle East affairs. So maybe it was my first connection with this region. And one day I got a call from the spokesperson telling me, Franck, you are going to a very special mission tomorrow. And that mission was very interesting for me, because I asked where, and they told me, we cannot tell you for now. So you can imagine the day that I spent thinking about what will be my mission the next day, without knowing. And during the night, they called me again and they told me, you are going to Tehran. So I said, could you repeat, please? It was in 2003. Yes, you have to go to Tehran tomorrow with the French minister, Dominique de Villepin. There will be a specific communication there, and you will meet the responsible of the nuclear affairs. And that was very interesting, because Dominique de Villepin, the French Minister for Foreign Affairs, was not alone to fly to Tehran, because Jack Straw, the UK Minister of Foreign Affairs, and Joschka Fischer, the German one, would join the mission to talk to the Iranian. As a Jew, you can imagine the night I spent saying, okay, I have to go to Tehran tomorrow or I don't have to go to Tehran tomorrow. Am I making the mission weaker if I'm a Jewish being part of this mission, or I'm not? And at the end of the day, I said, look, I'm a French diplomat, I'm going for a mission, and I will fly to Tehran. The only thing I hid, it was to my mother. I didn't tell her that I was flying to Tehran. And we took a flight during the morning. We arrived in Tehran. I have to say it's a very amazing city, very beautiful. And I met Mr. Rouhani, who was in charge of the nuclear affairs at that time. So the CEO of I-24 News already met the president of the Iranian state. And it was a very tough mission because it was a hard talk between the European and Mr. Rouhani. And I didn't know Mr. Dominique de Villepin before that mission. He was very surprised that they sent with him a very young spokesperson, but I did the job. And at the end of the day, when he moved to the Minister of Interior, appointed by Chirac, he asked me to join his cabinet. And I said, I'm sorry, I was born in Switzerland. I'm not the right guy to come with you in a cabinet of interior affairs because I don't know the French department. And I don't know anything about the geography in France, and I was not educated in France. And they told me, no, the minister wants you because he's appointed there not to, for a specific mission. And the mission was to fight against terrorism. Because at that time, we were just right after the attack in Madrid from Al-Qaeda. And it was the first time that Europe was attacked by Al-Qaeda. And they started to feel that in France, something was happening, and they wanted to build a task force around Dominique de Villepin. So this is the reason I joined the cabinet of the Minister of Interior to fight the Islamism radical. It was already in 2004, and we could see at that period that it was growing. And the relationship was very good, and when he was appointed Prime Minister in 2005, he asked me to join as a special advisor for international communication. This is what I did. And when Chirac was ready to leave his mandate, he asked me just before to be part of another mission, which was to build a French international broadcast, because he was very pissed off about one thing. When there was this famous speech at the Security Council, the 14th of February 2003, against the war in Iraq. I'm pretty sure you remember, Albert. The French were against the war in Iraq. It was a big deal. And Dominique de Villepin did a very beautiful speech at the Security Council. And there was something very rare that day. Because at the end of the speech, there was a standing ovation inside the Security Council. And it's totally forbidden according to the protocol in the Security Council. And no one showed a picture of these people standing up and acclaiming France. And why no one showed it? Because CNN was backing Bush, BBC Tony Blair, Deutsche Welle Angela Merkel. And no one was talking about this standing ovation. So President Chirac started to yell in his office and he said, look, if I had my own CNN, the world would see that France is not alone in this fight against the war. This is the reason he built a team to launch a French international broadcast. I was part of it, and he wanted a young diplomat to develop the channel abroad and to build an international soft power, French soft power. And this is what I did right after his mandate, and to launch France 24. After arrived Nicolas Sarkozy. And you know, when you have a president, he's always challenging the predecessor. So Sarkozy said, you know what, I want to close France 24, France 24. So we told him, why you want to close it? Because it was the channel of Chirac. So we told him, you cannot close only because it was the channel of Jacques Chirac. So he said, okay, I want to do bigger than Jacques Chirac. So he built an umbrella, putting inside all the French international broadcasts. You have, of course, France 24, you have Radio France International, TV5 Monde, which is the channel of the Francophonia, and you have also the Arabic network, Radio Monte Carlo Doualiya. And he wanted to merge all this media under only one brand. And I was appointed executive president of strategy to build this merger with all the media and to connect the French media with BBC and CNN and other big networks in the world. After arrived Mr. François Hollande. And Mr. François Hollande said, I want to do the opposite of Mr. Sarkozy. So what he decided? He decided to kill the merger between all the media. So I said, it's too much for me. And that day I got a call from a guy I never heard. It was Patrick Drahi. Patrick Drahi is a tycoon. He's the owner of many cable networks in the world. And he told me, look, I wanted to meet you because I saw what you built in France 24. I like it, but I'm fed up about the way that the media are talking about Middle East. And I want to build exactly the same from the heart of the Middle East, from the only place which is a democracy in the region, in Israel, and I want you to build it. So it was in October 2012. I asked him how long I had to take my decision. He told me 1 week. So I decided at the middle of October to say yes, because I'm a little crazy, you know me, Albert. And I decided to resign from the French government in November 2012. And I came in Israel with all my family in December 2012. I found this place here with a blank paper, and we launched I24 News the 17th of July 2013.
But how did you go? How did you feel emotionally to leave a secure spot with government, because after all you were a bureaucrat, and go into a private enterprise, which is what I24 is? Or is the government of Israel involved with I24? I don't think so, right?
No, I24 News is a private channel, totally independent. We are not receiving any money from any political party or government. But you're right, it's a good question, because I was asking myself, you have young children, are you going, are you not going? But to tell you the truth, Albert...
What year was that, Frank? What year was that?
It was in 2012. But I have to tell you the truth. First, as I told you, I had a chance to reach a very high level in the French government, very young. So at the end of the day, I said, okay, what is the next step? Secondly, I was in a strategic position since day one. And I saw the way France was evaluating and Europe. And I was asking myself, this is exactly where you want your children to grow? And to be honest, I said no. Even Israel has the feeling abroad that it's not a safe place. But I can tell you, today I'm more relaxed when my children are walking in the streets of Tel Aviv than in Paris.
Yes, I know that there were, about 15 years ago, there were 750,000 French Jews, and today there's only 500,000 left. So 250,000 Jewish French left. I'm not sure whether they've all gone to Israel, but I think a great part has.
Yes, and you will have a new wave. You will have a new wave this year. Not for the same reason. You know, you had people leaving for tax reason. You had people leaving for Zionism. You had people leaving also because they have a job, like me. But I have to say the next wave will be very interesting because people are coming to Israel because they have no choice. And the security situation in France for the Jewish people, what happened with Corona also is pushing the people to come and to do Aliyah in Israel. You know, Albert, yesterday I was watching news, and we are talking about annexation a lot today. I was very, I don't want to say shocked, but surprised that I did my zapping in the Arabic networks. No one was talking about annexation. I did my zapping with Palestinian channels. I saw no one on the streets fighting against annexation. The only country who was organizing protests, and huge protests, in their capital against Israel and against the annexation was France. I'm pretty sure there are always other things to be focused, but they decided to be focused more on BDS and supporting the Palestinians. So when I see that, I asking myself, did you do the right step? For sure, yes. And I did also the right step because except I-24 News, no one was showing this protest around the world.
So let's go back to 2012 when you decided that that was the right step. Had Bibi Netanyahu got anything to do with that move? Have you met with him? Did he convince you to join? What's the story there?
Netanyahu is not involved at all in the channel. Of course, I met him like I met President Perez with Patrick Drahi before the launch to inform them. Patrick Drahi also did the move before. He wanted to inform the Israeli government that he wanted to build this to help Israel in the communication, not to become a rightist or a leftist channel. The DNA of I-24 News is to show that we are balanced and to explain the reality of Israel to the world, to connect Israel to the world and to connect the world to Israel. So when I met him, he was very happy. He said, of course, but he said, good luck. Because for the Israeli people, they don't understand what is coming from abroad, what is the perception abroad. For them, everything they are saying is criticized. So they said, we are living with that. We cannot fight with it. Everything we will say, everything we will do will be criticized. I'm not on that, at the same page with that. I think we can fight. I think today everything is question of perception. I think that if peace is not possible, is because people are thinking peace is not possible according to what they are seeing on the TV. It's because of the media. That's the perception. And we are very proud in I-24 News. You see on my back a newsroom. This is a unique newsroom in the world. Because in this newsroom, you have Muslim, Jewish, Christian, Druze, not only working together, but co-producing the same content. And my answer to this media, my answer to these people who are thinking that peace is not possible, is that inside the media, coexistence is possible. If I may, Albert, I want to show to our viewers a small clip to make them feel what is I-24 News.
I-24 News, the Altice Group International News TV network, is an amazing project. Unbiased international news coverage through the prism of the Middle East from the Middle East. Today, more than 1 billion households worldwide have access to I-24 News.
Quand on vient faire son métier de journaliste ici au cœur du Moyen-Orient, c'est pas pour faire de la figuration, on évolue dans une région sensible où chaque mot compte.
In just a few years, I-24 News has become a global news network.
Bonsoir. Hello and welcome to Israel Business Weekly. تحية لكم مجددا مشاهدينا.
Today, I-24 News employs 150 journalists from 35 different countries. From our offices in Tel Aviv, Paris, New York, Washington, and Los Angeles, our team delivers the news to our audience in 3 languages: French, English, and Arabic.
Pour moi, c'est très important de conserver notre diversité culturelle.
I've always thought that this region in particular is often misunderstood, and it's our job as journalists to fix that.
مما لا شك فيه فإن هذا هو أفضل مكان لتحليل ولفهم الأخبار الدولية.
Things are happening here. When you look at the major news stories, you realize that almost everything starts from here.
I-24 News is not only a non-stop news network, it also broadcasts daily shows and magazines to analyze and help our viewers understand the news with guests from all backgrounds for open and unfiltered discussions.
منح الصوت والمنبر لكل وجهات النظر، الإصغاء لكل المواقف والاعتبارات، يمكننا من تغليب حرية التعبير على أي اعتبار آخر.
Rendre compte des événements avec précision, s'en tenir aux faits, rien d'autre, c'est ça qui fait la différence.
I-24 News is available everywhere, on TV, web, apps, social media, and OTT.
We are working 24/7 to provide our audience with the most reliable information as fast as possible.
I'm Israeli, I'm Palestinian, I'm Arab, I'm Christian, I'm a woman, I'm a journalist. That's what makes I-24 News so special.
I-24 News, see beyond.
That's a great testimony. That's a great testimony to your work, Frank. I'm sure you brought a lot of knowledge from France 24 to I-24. But I want to ask you, I know that you are not a propaganda voice of Israel. You are there to provide balanced news. That means that when you need to be critical or need to give the voice to critics of the government of Israel, I know that you do so.
Yes, you're right. And it's not an easy job, as you can imagine, especially with, when you are doing that in the middle of the Middle East. And I think the most difficult thing is because when you are talking about Middle East and you are watching over the news network, it's never balanced. So what is bothering people, it's because it's balanced. When you want to watch networks talking about Israel, or they are, and I'm talking about 99%, totally against Israel, or they are totally pro-Israel. And here I'm talking only about the Israeli networks. So when I start, you see, I don't know if we can have a wide angle on my studio. You see, usually, if you are watching the newsroom of other networks, what is the trendy today is to have a triangle or a square. Here in I-24, I decided to keep the round table. Why the round table? Because I'm asking my journalists not to tell what they want, not to tell what they are thinking. This is good for BBC. I'm asking my journalists to bring inside the studio the diversity of the opinions. What I want to do with I-24 News is to have here, and this is what we have every day, right wing and left wing, anti, pro, talking, debating, even sometimes fighting about the issues. But it's not the journalist to decide what is right or what is wrong. It's you, the viewer. Because I offered you the menu about the item, you will decide what you will take à la carte and what will be your own opinion. I'm talking to you, Albert, here inside a very, very important studio for me. We have 3 studios. In the back, you have the French one. In the middle, you have the American one. And I'm talking to you inside the Arabic one. In this studio, Albert, every night, 9 p.m. Israeli time, you have an Israeli and a Palestinian debating about the situation. This is unique. You don't see that in other networks. Why you don't see that in other networks? Because most of them are thinking it's impossible to make a former minister of Palestine or a former chief of the Mossad talking, debating every night on a TV. But here, inside the media, in I-24 News, this is possible. This is to be balanced. This is what the people don't like, what they are watching I-24 News, because we are showing them inside their own TV that the perception that they have about the fact that nothing can move in the Middle East, nothing can be done in the Middle East, is not true. Because here, we are putting facts on the table, and I'm asking my journalists just to tell the truth.
So Frank, I would like to go back in time, because I know that when you were at France 24, you also set up a Qatari channel. Can you tell us about that story?
Yes. So when Sarkozy was president, they decided, you know, France had a very close relationship with Qatar. And they sent me to build...
They still do, by the way.
They still do, yes.
All you have to do is to look at Paris Saint-Germain.
Exactly. Not only. But they sent me there to build a radio, French-speaking radio station for the Qatari government. And I spent a lot of time there. It was very interesting because this is what they call the Mektoub, Albert. I was spending a lot of time in Al Jazeera, but at that time I didn't know that I will build, a few years after, the best competitor of Al Jazeera. So I know every corner of Al Jazeera. And of course, I used to work for the Qatari government, and I was very close to the Minister of Communication and also the Emir Jabor Al-Thani. And the radio station I built helped them to become member of the big organization, Francophonia. So people cannot say that I'm a guy of propaganda, because I build the French International Network for France, I build a radio station for Qatari, and I build I24 News. But I think that my position, my background, my experience could help to connect all that.
Yes, and you don't want to tell us some other inside stories.
No, I'm too young.
Do I need to push you a little bit?
No, you cannot. I'm too young. I will write a book in 10 years, but we can do this talk in 10 years.
Absolutely. Well, Frank, today I24 in Israel is a force to reckon with. You are broadcasting nearly throughout the world. Are you broadcasting also on the internet?
Yep. I want to show you a map showing exactly where is our distribution today. So we are reaching 1 billion households in the world through the cable network. And also, of course, we are on OTT platform. You can have I24 News on Apple TV, on Roku. It's streaming live on the website, on the mobile applications. But you can see here on this map, Albert, that one country is missing, it's Australia. So if you can help, I would be very happy. But we are reaching today.
Can we watch I24 on Apple TV in Australia?
Yep. Everywhere in the world.
Through which app? Through which app?
You need to download I24 News.
Okay, very good. Now we know that. So, of course, my question is pertinent because you are now going to be broadcasting the leadership dialogue debates that we are going to have from here on. The next ones are going to be this coming December. And we have a vested interest for this to be watched in Australia. But you are broadcasting in the UK, and you are broadcasting in the United States, you're broadcasting in Israel, so we're nearly there. But until you get an agreement here in Australia, it's good to know that people can watch through Apple TV.
Exactly.
Good. So, Frank, how is now your life in Israel? Is this the final destination point, or are you going to come and do an Australian 24?
First, I'm in the middle because my life is amazing, the project is amazing, and we can see every day how much it's important to have a network like I24 News. If I'm watching the impact of I24 News, you have two ways to watch the impact. 3 ways. The first one is in terms of viewership. When I was in the United States, before I launched in the United States, I asked the people watching networks there, I did a survey, what is for you the best international news channel? And everybody was thinking it will be CNN, 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 CNN. But for the American, it's not CNN, because most of them know CNN only as a domestic channel, not as an international news network. So the most important news channel, international news channel for them was BBC World. And you have a second one after, which is Euronews. But that was the two main networks that the American viewers had in mind. And you know better than anyone, Albert, how much BBC and Euronews are biased when they are talking about Middle East, especially about Israel. So it was quite challenging for me to say, wow, I like this, and I'm going to fight with BBC and Euronews. And I want to show you that 2 years after the launch in the United States, according to the data that we got from the cable networks, I will ask Sarah, who is in a control room, she can show you the ratings from I24 News versus BBC and Euronews in the United States.
That'll be interesting.
No, it's not this one. This is the show, by the way. Here you can see the show that we have in I24 News. You can see that we have magazine, we have news rendezvous, we are doing a lot of live news, which is, this is exactly, thank you, Sarah. So here you can see in yellow I24 News, in red BBC, and in blue Euronews. This is after 2 years of launch of I24 News in the United States. So this is my first mission, to beat the competitors who are not delivering the right storytelling about what's going on in the Middle East. This is the first challenge. The second challenge is in terms of impact and influence. And I'm very proud to tell you, Albert, that President Trump retweeted I24 News already twice. So except Fox News, he's not retweeting any other media than I24 News because he's following I24 News to understand what's going on in the Middle East. But it's not only President Trump. Of course, Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, is also retweeting not what he's saying. He's retweeting what guests on I24 News are saying during interviews. So this is showing that we have a second leader watching I24 News. But what is very interesting, Albert, it's not to show that Trump and Netanyahu are watching I24 News, because you will tell me, oh, it's normal. You are doing propaganda of Israel. I will tell you no, because I have another guest who is retweeting I24 News, is Mr. Al-Sharif, who is the foreign minister of Iran. So you can see that the protagonists of the Middle East are following I24 News and they are watching I24 News. Just a few days ago, here in this studio, was entering the Palestinian advisor of Mahmoud Abbas, and he told me, you know what, Mr. Melloul, I have to tell you that President Abbas is watching more and more I24 News in Arabic. So you can see that in terms of impact, in terms of influence, in terms of soft power, I24 News is in the middle of something huge. And the third challenge, and this, you can help me as well because you are a businessman. And I told you I'm a diplomat. I'm just a new entrepreneur. We are credible in terms of content. We are credible also in terms of business, because here you can see that we already have big brands trusting I24 News. And this is where I'm focused today. I'm focused to reinforce the viewership, to reinforce the influence and impact with the leaders, and to reinforce the advertising on I24 News, to make it more and more credible, to become more and more stronger, and to become the truth on the media market.
So just to be clear on what you just said, I24 isn't a non-for-profit organization, or is it?
Yeah, I24 News is a business channel.
Okay, so but your structure is not a non-for-profit.
No. We are part of a big group. We are belonging to Altis US. We are part of an American group. And I'm a company, like all the companies, private company, inside the group. It is perfect for me because you can understand that it's my independency. I don't have a political agenda. People are thinking we have a political agenda because we are talking about Israel. I don't think so. My agenda is to be an unbiased network, global news network. That's it. If I was receiving money from any government, I would say, okay, I have an agenda. But what is the most interesting, Albert? If you see my competitors, my direct competitors, we spoke about France 24. France 24 is belonging to the French government, Macron. BBC is belonging to Johnson. Deutsche Welle is belonging to Angela Merkel. CGN TV, which is the Chinese network, is belonging to China. Russia Today is belonging to Putin. Al Jazeera is belonging to the Emir of Qatar. Me, I'm belonging to...
Yes, but I can tell you that in Australia, there is a little channel called the ABC, and it is totally owned by the Australian government. But I'm not sure that I would agree to say that they are the beck and call of the Australian government. They're quite independent. So do you say that France 24, for instance, is totally under the influence of the French government?
Sure.
Is that the case?
Sure.
Yes?
Sure, because it didn't change since I was there. At the moment that the government is giving you money, there is a contract. There is a contract between the government and France 24. And what is the contract is to promote the foreign policy of France.
Interesting that I note what you're saying. I was under the impression that in the West, the channels kept independent. I can tell you that it's the case of the BBC. I doubt very much that they would listen to any government directive. And it's the same mentality here in Australia. So I'm not sure about the rest of Europe. And of course, I totally agree with you that in China, that would be the voice of the people. I would expect that in China. Frank, I think that we had a good time here. I think that you've given me a lot of food for thought to me and to all our members and our listeners. I would love to do this in French with you, just to have the pleasure of hearing you calling me Albert.
No problem, Albert.
That would be good. I want to thank you, Frank.
Thank you, Albert.
Is there anything you want to? Have I asked you all the relevant questions? Is there anything that I haven't asked that you would like me to ask you?
I'm totally fine with what you ask. I would like to thank you first for your support, because I know you are a friend of I24 News, and I would be happy to come back to continue the discussion. But next time, I will bring an Australian journalist with me, and you will have the opportunity to exchange about content, because me, I'm the CEO and the founder. I'm not the guy who is doing news. And we are living a very, very strategic time. And maybe it's interesting for you to understand the way we are building news in I24 News, because it's quite different than the other networks.
That would be fantastic. Frank, thank you very much.
Thank you, Albert.
Thank you for watching Frank Talk on YouTube. Please leave us a comment and don't forget to hit the subscribe button.